Hello, hello, hello. It's a new week, and I am so excited to be back on your screens if you're watching this on YouTube and back on your earphones, I guess, or in your car if you're listening to this via podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. I have to apologize. I really have to apologize. Last week, I went AWOL, absence without leave. Actually, I did take leave, but I didn't let you know that I was going to take leave. Let me be honest about where I was and what was going on. Firstly, I got into the week completely unprepared. And when that happens for me, it throws me off. It really throws me for a loop. I don't know how to place myself. So if I'm not prepared for a week or whatever it is that I'm venturing into, I really lose my way. I lose my plot. But also, as I got into the week, I started getting unwell mentally and just emotionally. And not because of it's just I'm dealing with a lot. I'm really dealing with a lot. Some of you know, some of you don't. But when the week started, like but my Tuesday, so many things came back, and I just I realized that I'm on empty. I realized that I'm on empty, and I needed to take time out because I couldn't pour from an empty cup. I realized that I couldn't continue on reserves or on fumes because it was going to choke me and I wasn't going to be fine. Also, I couldn't come on this platform that I'm responsible for and behave irresponsibly by sharing content rather that is half baked or really not being my best self. Nangibona manje, I am over the moon. I'm like I'm back to my normal self. And last week this wasn't the case, and I couldn't come on here and be down and really not give this thing my best. I value this platform. I love the job that I do because this is work for me. And I can't come in not prepared. I can't come in with half energy or half heartedly. I really want to give this platform my best all the time. And here's the thing, the truth is, we can't always stay on. It's unsustainable. Just like you can't always be in love with your partner, you can't always be on. But when you're not on, it's very important to acknowledge that you're not okay, retreat, fill up, replenish, and then come back into whatever it is that you do with your highest energy, with your best self, and give whatever you're doing your best. A lot of the times we make a mistake. We see the E, right? We see the E that says empty. We see the gauge that's on the E. We see the flashing light that says empty, empty. We even hear the beeping sound, beep, beep, but we still continue because we're like, how many more Ks can I go on reserves until we get to fumes? And that is what leads to burnout. And I don't want us to be those people. If you really are not okay, take time to retreat and come back replenished and give whatever you're doing your best. So that was me. I didn't record a podcast. I didn't really engage much on social media or put out content because I wasn't well. I was on empty and I really needed to fill up before I can come out from an overflow. I never want to give you anything from reserves. I never want to operate on reserves. I want everything that I do to come from an overflow. So that's where I was, and I apologize that I didn't let you know, but I'm back and I'm better than ever. Do you guys remember Raven? No? Okay, it's just me. I'm old. Again, I'm not old. So I really love doing these podcasts because it's a conversation between you and I, but I don't want to mess up the conversation, okay? So I've got my notes on my phone so that I just have cues on what it is I want to say. If I want to read definitions, we can do that. So today, before we get into the content, I'd actually like to read a review. And this week's review is somewhat somber, but also somewhat comforting. This review is from umasichaba.m, and she says very encouraging. That's the topic of or the title of the review. I am really uplifted. You are a light to the discouraged souls. Thank you, Mpumi. My mom says I'm being bewitched when I tell her that I'm not happy with my current job. I studied for 4 years in a pool of depression because I did not like the course, but I had to endure everything due to financial opportunity that I had to grasp. My family was not well established to settle my fees. I am depressed at the moment. I feel like the world got halved in two pieces, and there's a crying face emoji. I thought salary would change this whole perspective of my career path, but yeah, heartbroken. And you know that person that's crying in despair, like, that's what's showing. Knowing that they are understanding people like you is enough. Continue impacting the world, sis. Praying hands. I don't know if it's praying hands emoji and like a lot of crying face emojis. God bless you. You know, when I read this, my heart sank for a bit because I resonate so much with what she's saying. And today's episode is actually apt because we're talking about black tax and how it is the reason we are stuck, how it is the reason we are not living in our purpose. And so when I read this review, it for me it was apt enough to bring it because this is a kind of thing that happens to a lot of us. We get stuck and we just don't know how to get out there. So I'm really, really happy that this platform is encouraging, that this platform is enough for somebody to say, someone sees me, someone understands what I'm going through. There's help. I won't remain stuck. There is help. And if all this platform is for, that's enough for me. Of course, I hope that you continue to invest in the programs and all those things. But if you can come here and feel seen, come here and know that your story is not the only story, that it is one story among many others like it, to know that you are not bewitched for not being happy, to know that it's a journey that a lot of us have walked on, but there is hope on the other side. If this podcast does exactly that for you and more, and so Master Chaba, I am so sorry that I'm so sorry that this is where you've been and this is where you currently are. Please reach out to me. Reach out to me on my social media platforms. I'd really like us to engage. And man, thank you for the blessing. She said, continue impacting the world. God bless you. I really, really appreciate this. You're not alone, okay? You are not alone, but there's help, and you have to take up that help. Another thing, last time I gave the podcast 2 stars. I don't know if this was a reflection of where she was at the moment, the depressed state, and she was just like, ugh, and it was a two by mistake, or it's actually a reflection on things that I can do to improve the podcast. And so if I don't know how to interpret the 2 stars, but if it's something that I can do to improve the podcast, please hit me up on at Purpose Practitioners Club on Instagram. I am Numpumele Lombonani on LinkedIn, and let's have a conversation. Let me know how I can do better. But if this was a reflection on where you are, I really hope that you're now in a better place. But engage me. I'd like us to have a conversation. And on this note, guys, please, if you listen to this podcast via podcast. Please give it a 5 star rating. Please, please review it. These reviews go a long way. You have absolutely no idea. But also, please subscribe to the podcast. I know a lot of people just listen and they duck out. Please follow if you're on Spotify, subscribe if you're on Apple. Please follow the podcast. It really does a world of difference. It lets Apple know, it actually lets podcast distributors know that there's something good here, but also shows other people who are looking for content like this that there is help here. So please rate 5 stars, okay? I beg you all, I beg you all. Please review, leave an affirmative review, or whatever, really review the podcast according to your own opinion, and subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, Fat and Seti. Guys, Fat and Set is not what we do. We commit, okay? That's us. We commit on this journey. So please, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, completely free, at no charge to you. In fact, it does you more good than bad because you get notified every time we come on live on Fridays, and the podcast is released on Mondays. And you don't miss anything. So please subscribe. Also, I'm on a journey to 1K. I'd like for this platform to be monetized so that we can use that money to invest in more tech. I am confident in the content, but I also want to be just as equally confident in the quality. So we need to invest in things that are going to make sure that your viewing pleasure is maximized. So please subscribe. Tell your friends at work who need this type of content to subscribe. Promote it on your social media. Just subscribe. Road to 1K. Okay. Now I feel like a politician. Vote, vote, vote. Right, guys, let's get into today's content. As I've already alluded, we are speaking to the fact that black tax is the reason we're not living in our purpose. Firstly, the reason we never pursued our purpose, but also the reason we are still stuck out of our purpose. Okay, so let's start with definitions. What is black tax? I went onto Google, of course, Google University, and it says it's income that Black professionals give to their families to support them. Now, I know a lot of people get really touched when you start talking about black tax. You can't call it that. No, it's such a bad term. But guys, who are we kidding? Who are we really kidding? Because it is tax. It is tax for the Black child. I mean, okay, maybe let me just really reiterate where it came from, or just remind people where the concept of black, or maybe not even the concept, but how we got to this place of black tax. We know our history with apartheid, guys. We as a black nation were oppressed and suppressed. We were excluded from financial opportunities that could ensure that we thrive and that our parents build generational wealth for us. We were excluded from those things. And so when things got better, when we stepped into democracy and us, I'm a born free, came into this world, or us millennials came into this world, we now had more opportunities than our parents did. And by virtue of that, we got exposed to schools and infrastructure and technology and really all these things that can make sure that we better the lives of previous generations. This is not the fact that professionals have to help out their families. It's not everybody's thing. It is majority a problem of black professionals because of our history. So when we say no, we can't use black tax, can't use that term, it's let's not kid ourselves. We as black children, as black professionals, now have the onus on us to support our families because of the history we come from. It's not like we begrudge helping our families, or we actually like let's give it a bad term to reflect how bad it is. It is what it is. It's a tax that us black people, us black professionals have to pay to make sure that our families come up, or to make sure that our families actually just survive. It is what it is. It is what it is. And maybe let's talk about what tax is, right? I went to is Mary no, I went to the internet, and it has two definitions. Tax, a compulsory contribution to state revenue. Of course, they're talking about the normal tax that we know that we have to pay to the government. Levied by government on workers' income and business profits, or added to cost of some goods, services, or transactions. So it's a compulsory contribution that people who have income and profits and sales and whatever have to pay to the government. Compulsory contribution. I wanted to park there for a bit. Okay, before we park, I was part of a book club, and we were reading the book Black Tax, Burden or Ubuntu by Nick Mshongo, right? And here's my take. Is it a burden? Is it Ubuntu? Here's my take. Black tax becomes a burden when the black child is expected to pay back. It's like payback. I took you to school. Hey, we supported your father. He da da da. When your family, extended family, keeps saying because of what we did, you also have to give us because you have money. It becomes a burden when you have to pay back. But it is Ubuntu when you are paying it forward. When you're like, I'm in a better position and there are other people coming after me that I can help support. Then it becomes Ubuntu. So really, there's a fine line. At times it's abusive, and at times it's actually a privilege because the people we're doing it for appreciate it and they are able to make something of it. So it is a compulsory contribution. Like as black children, we are expected to do it because if not us, then who? You know, man, it's such a loaded conversation. And the next definition for tax was a strain or heavy demand. When somebody says, "Yo, doing that jog was taxing," or whatever. So it is a strain or heavy burden. And let's be honest, guys, black tax hampers our progression. We start off with our white counterparts at work, but we don't progress in the same way. Of course, because corporate is also another issue, but it's because with our finances, they can do more with their finances than we can, because some of our finances have to go back to our families, our mothers, our fathers, our younger siblings, our extended families who rely on our support. So the truth is, it hampers rapid progression or rapid progress. Other people who are not responsible for black tax are able to make their money stretch further and do more than those who have to take a chunk of their money and throw it into family support. Another thing, guys, let's be honest. Sometimes black tax causes stress to young professionals, okay? The demands and the requests, sometimes unreasonable, sometimes very reasonable. They cause a lot of stress because we have to be young professionals who have aspirations of our own, but now have to be parents or have to have beneficiaries because of the situation at home. So the truth is, it really does cause strain and it has heavy demands. And it is a compulsory contribution. Like, not compulsory, which if you don't do it, you go to jail. But it's sort of like if we don't do it, who will? All right. So understanding what tax means and understanding that it is really something that is exclusive to the the black person. And okay, maybe I'm generalizing. There are white people who have to help out their families because I don't know what they were doing when the rest of their families or the rest of their counterparts were losing. Okay, I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for saying that. But there are also black people who don't have to pay tax because their families or their parents were fortunate enough to build wealth in that time. I mean, yeah, black people were oppressed, but there's some black people who are not equal to others, and that's just how it is. So I'm making a generalization when I say that if not us, then who? So I understand that, but the majority of the black professionals, young black professionals, man, we've got this compulsory contribution, the strain, this heavy demand on us. That if our history were different, if black people were also allowed to thrive and to participate economically and we weren't oppressed, we would not have this problem. We would not have this situation. It is what it is. Whether we try to escape it or not, we give it a new name, go to, oh, family contribution, corporate, so not corporate, social responsibility. Guys, it is what it is. It's black tax. It's a tax or a levy that we have as young black professionals to support our families. Okay, so I want to talk about how it has got us now, how it's got us stuck from not pursuing our purpose and still not living it out. Number one, we had no generational wealth passed down to us. So because of that, we didn't have room to fully explore and find ourselves. Literally, you hear of our white counterparts who say they took a gap year after matric, and that gap year allowed them to travel. It allowed them to explore themselves, to learn themselves, to find out what they like. It's because they had the wealth in the family to do that. The wealth in their family could sponsor their travels. It allowed them room to not have the pressure of figuring everything out exactly after or immediately after matriculating. That's not a privilege that us black kids, the majority of us black kids had. We had the responsibility instead to create a poverty escape plan for our families. I remember for me personally, when I wanted to do psychology, I was like, no, 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 no. Who's gonna take us out of this mess if you want to study for 7 years? No, we need a quick return, quick return. Go to university, study something that won't take long, something that you are guaranteed will give you a job, and do that. That's what we got. We had to quickly find a way to make money. We had to create an escape plan out of poverty for our families very soon because we didn't have the luxury of this generational wealth that is waiting for us to make mistakes or to explore ourselves. Literally, you find people who said they went to university maybe in the first year to study engineering and they're like, oh, I don't like this. And they had the opportunity, they had the leg room, the leeway to go into art or go into whatever else, accounting, really to change their minds. We didn't have the opportunity to change our minds. You get to a course that is traditionally safe. They say engineering or accounting or construction or law or doctor, which also like a stretch because you study for eternity. But it was just like, guys, this is what we know has worked. When we look around us, engineers and accountants and lawyers, they make money. So anything outside of that bracket is a risk, and we couldn't take the risk. And so we really couldn't explore and find out what our place in this world is and how we can contribute to this world and making it a better place, how we can solve problems that really resonate with us, how we can apply our skills, how we can apply our talents, how we can apply our gifts, how we can be ourselves and make money by being ourselves, solve problems for people by being ourselves. We didn't have that privilege. Also, here's the thing, because our parents were excluded from so many things, right? Financial activity or financial participation, and really just the plethora of things that the world has got to offer. Even our exposure then got limited because we got to know what our parents knew. We got to go to schools that our parents could take us to that really didn't expose us too much. And so our selection was really just a handful: lawyer, doctor, accountant, engineer. eh, That's it. So because our exposure was limited, then it really boxed us into these traditional careers, these safe careers. Anything outside of this we can't vouch for, we don't trust. And what else did I write here? Our parents really didn't have a concept of purpose. Like, our parents worked to survive. That was it. So good, you're going to find joy in your work. Good, your life counts for something, and you can create impact by being you, by applying your strengths, by using your story. They had no concept of purpose. Even now, it sounds like a privilege, like such leisure. The idea of doing something you absolutely love, the idea of living a purposeful life, the idea of using your story and your experience and your gift to create an impact in this world and solve problems and really just change the way things are. It is such a foreign concept to our parents. I think even my mom, when I say I'm coaching, I go live every day and people pay me to be a coach. My mom's like, what? So she appreciates what I do, but she doesn't fully understand it. When I talk about purpose, it's like really a foreign concept. So you can imagine then finishing varsity and saying, I want to pursue my purpose. We didn't even know what that was. And the reason why this purpose topic is so big now is because people are coming to the realization of, hey, there's a better way to live. We don't have to work just to pay the bills. We don't have to work just to survive. We can actually thrive. No, we can actually thrive. That is such a foreign concept. And we never got to pursue it because our parents didn't know. But things are different now, okay? Things are different, and I don't want you to be left out of the difference that we're now experiencing, and a change in the way that we work and how we do things, okay? So how has it still gotten us stuck now? The truth is, we've got responsibility. We got into these jobs, we got exposed to so much money, and we got fancy cars, we got mortgages, or we're renting nice apartments. Our families, our responsibility. We've gotten into debt. We took on so much responsibility, and now we're just like, ugh, I can't afford to make a leap. I can't afford to leave these golden chains that have got me stuck. Mm, situations. But there's hope. Number two, the fear of the unknown. Would see, I don't know, will it work? And the truth is, I want to invalidate this fear. I absolutely don't like it when somebody invalidates how I feel, but this fear can be invalidated because we are seeing it work. We know people who have followed their passions and have followed their dreams. We know people who have dived into their purpose. We know people who are doing meaningful work in this world, people who have chosen themselves, people who have chosen joy, people who have chosen their purpose and are making a killing, not just financially, because people are making money in their purpose, but also they are happy. We look at people and we envy them and we're just like, oh, if I can only get that. So we know that it works. We know this is no longer the unknown. We know that it works, but we are so afraid. And our fear isn't that will it work? Our fear really is, will it work for me? I see these people starting their businesses. I see these people doing influencer work. I see these people traveling the world. I see these people actually making a living doing stuff that they like. It's great, but can it work for me? And I'm here to affirm that it can certainly work for you. It will. I always say that for as long as you are alive, your purpose is relevant for this generation. in this society, in this time. For as long as you're breathing, you can use your story, you can use your experience, you can use your life to impact this world. If there's no longer use for you, you'll die. And maybe that's why I'm okay with dying just as long as I've lived the life I was meant to live, just as long as I live up to God's idea for my life and his design for what I was meant to live. So honestly, if you're still alive, there's use for you. There's a plan for your life. You can absolutely do great, find joy, create an impact, live sustainably, and live well. You don't just have to survive, there's an opportunity for you to thrive. So it's not that we don't know it can work, we know it can. And stop believing that it cannot work for you. It can and it will. You really just have to give it a shot. Another thing, the truth is that when you stay in a job that you don't like, or a job you hate, or a job isn't making the most use of you, it really does something in lowering your self-esteem and your confidence in what you can really do. When you are not where you are best placed, right? When you are in a job that really just you can do it, you're competent, but you don't excel, you are not in your zone of genius. Let me tell you what happens. You get ratings at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, and they tell you, oh, you did good or you did okay. You are never going to hear outstanding. And this is something I want to talk about in another episode, but let's go. You're never going to hear a rating that says outstanding or strong or very strong, because all you're doing is coasting. You're doing what you can. You're not fully maximized. You're not in purpose. You're like, I can do the job because I mean, I studied and I've got a brain and I can do it. But you're not excelling. And every day, it literally chips away at the confidence you have in who you can really be and just how much you can give to the world. Your increases are like at inflation. And you start thinking, Gucci, really? Is this all I'm worth? They tell you can't earn more than this because of where you it it kills our confidence. It lowers our esteem. You really just tell yourself, Uzi, this is all I'm good for. My ratings are good or okay. Sometimes you need improvement. You never hear words like outstanding. You never hear words like excellent or very strong. And that's what happens when we choose the comfort zone. We are on autopilot. But when we actually say, no, man, there's more to me. I can do so much. I know I can do so much. At the back of your mind, you know you're brilliant. You know you can give so much, but where you are, you absolutely cannot, because it's not possible. It really lowers our esteem. So how we're still stuck is that our confidence in what we can do, our confidence in our brilliance has tapered off. Our esteem and how confident in how excellent we can be has tapered off. And man, no, I want a better life for you. I want a better life for myself. And that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I push so hard. That's why I want really to this business to thrive and for my platforms to be monetized so I can really give my best and live my best life. That's why we do what we do. And not just for myself, but because I realize with the man, my life means something. I just read a review now of somebody who was saying they feel like they're not alone anymore because their story and mine are so in sync, because because I'm using my platform for good. So using my platform for good impacts other people. It not only helps me, it not only gives me joy, it not only gives me money, but it helps other people. It helps you as you're listening to this. And so there's hope. And now I want to talk to you about how you can get out of this mess, get out of being stuck, get out of what black tax has dragged us into, and start financing your purpose. Okay? There's how many points? 4 points. Number one, you need to enforce boundaries. When I started working, I sat my mom down and I said to her, sis, it's the two of us in this home. We don't need a big house. So I know the expectation is that when your child starts making money and starts working, they extend the house. I'm not gonna extend your house. It's just you and me. And at some point, I'm gonna leave. And I'm not gonna leave you to a big house. It is completely impractical. What we can do is build rooms outside because those rooms will give us money. It will make us money. You are going to provide housing for somebody who doesn't have housing, and we're going to make sure that it's good rooms, with a shower, so that people know good see, hey, there are levels, but it's also going to make you money. That for me was practical. I set boundaries from the onset. I used to frustrate my sister so much. She'd be like, oh, let's go out and do this. And I say, no, it's not in line with my budget. She'd be like, budget, you're so young. And yet she's so strict. And I had to enforce boundaries. Because if it's not in my budget, don't expect it. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to help you out up until this point. I support my brother's kids when I can. And I said, this is the level, this is the limit I'm going to go. Beyond this, don't expect anything from me. And not because I'm stingy, but because I need to have a clear, mapped out financial journey for myself. I can only do so much, you can only expect so much, and that's it. You need to start enforcing boundaries. There's no other way. You need to enforce boundaries. I know people who are doing so much, and this leads to my other point. They are renovating their parents' homes, taking their siblings to university, paying for their siblings' weddings. And this is, I'm not arbitrarily thinking about this. I had a friend who was renovating his parents' home, who was paying for his sister's university fees, who, when another sister of his got married, had to foot the bill. And I'm just like, that's crazy. That is crazy. And this is something that we sometimes do. We enable people instead of empowering them. Listen, the sister who was getting married, there was absolutely no reason why my friend should have footed the bill for that wedding. This girl has a husband. What's her husband doing? What's her husband's family doing? What is she getting married? Don't get married. You are putting other people in debt. Other people's lives. Oh, if you really don't do it. And I was so affected by this. I'm just like, what are they doing if they can't afford to do it? It's completely unfair. The sister whose university fees had to be paid. Okay. Also had my university paid for, but by a bursary. Okay. There are scholarships out there. There are bursaries. There's NASFAS. There's so much that we can tap into that is being provided to us. But also, here's the thing. If this person is in university, it means they have the potential and the capability to earn. All right. This person can work at university, work in a library, or be a tutor and earn extra cash. They can actually work as a waiter in a restaurant at night. There's so much they can do. Sell stuff, sell weaves. They- we have the responsibility of empowering some of the people that we help instead of enabling them. It's up to us to say, okay, here are my boundaries, but also here's what you can do to help yourself out. In this day and age, people can make money doing absolutely everything and anything. There's no reason why we need to be stuck in helping when they can actually help us by helping themselves. I know there's a cousin of mine who was like, please give me money. He is a guy way older than me. And I said to him, you're supposed to be giving him money. Instead, he should be coming to me to say, can I wash your car for some money? That is empowering him. I should have just said, come wash my car. I mean, I can't just give you money. Give me money. Can you hear how unfair that is? Give me money. So just because we have doesn't mean we need to be abused. And it doesn't mean that we have to enable. Some people just, because they rely on us so much, they don't take the onus upon themselves to do better. They don't even explore opportunities or other possibilities to help themselves out. They just like, Mpumi will help me because she's got the money. No, we have to empower the people that we help. I've got nieces, and my nieces are old enough. I can say to them, hey, what can you do? What do you absolutely love to do? Do you love to dance? Then start, like, put up dance tutorials or dance whatever on YouTube. Go viral and have people pay you for those things. Like, there's so much that I can do, that we can all do to empower the people that rely on us. Our parents, if we can build rooms for them, back rooms for them, that they can have money, and we have breathing room to use our money to invest to use our money for other things, to pay off debts, then let's do that. Whether it's our parents or younger siblings or extended families, let's empower them. If somebody in your family is like, help me, it's no, I'll buy you a stock. I'll buy you snacks and sweets and biscuits, and that will be stock for you in order for you to sell. You can make your own money because you are capable. I don't have to be the one that does it for you. We sometimes think Gucci, the only way people can survive is if they have these big checks. No, 100 rand, 500 rand goes a long way. Let's not enable the people we are helping. Let's empower them so that they can also help us by helping themselves. Number four, you need to make smart investments. And I'm not talking about stocks or ETFs or property. I'm not even talking about those things. Make smart investments. There are five investments, like in the sequence. Invest in education or knowledge. And this is not going back to university. There are courses out there that can help you discover your purpose and turn it into a profession. Hello, purpose to profession. Okay, that is a bit funny for me. I love that. But really, we need to invest. The biggest investments we can make is in ourselves. The biggest investments we can make is in our purpose. The biggest investments we can make is in how we can add value to this world and to people's lives and thrive from adding that value. So invest in education or knowledge. Take up courses on how to negotiate your salary at work. Really, on how to do artwork. Invest in what will help you move forward so you can do something more than what you're currently doing with your life. And when you're done investing in knowledge or education, invest in tools that are going to ensure that what you've learned can be implemented. And then invest in outsourcing. You don't have to do everything. I normally say to my mom, if I can pay somebody to clean the house while I create content, I'll do that. If I can pay somebody to iron so that I can take those clothes and make money speaking on world stages, I'll do that. You don't have to do everything. Invest in outsourcing so that you can do things that you are brilliant in, things that will generate revenue for you. And in outsourcing, you allow somebody else who's good in domestic work or good. You don't even have to outsource work like housework. You can outsource your content creation. Like oh, you can outsource so many things that you unlock your time in doing things that work for you. This is so annoying. Somebody is knocking here and it's really going to destroy my podcast episode quality. But anyway, let me keep it pushing. And then you specialize in you invest in specialized support. This is now when you are clear on your niche and you know what to do and you just want to keep getting better at a certain aspect of what you do. You invest in that. Invest in trademarking your intellectual property. You see, guys, got you. You also invest in systems that will help you automate the things that you do, make it better, and just improve what you do. All these things I teach in detail within my signature service, Purpose to Profession. And so if you want to start knowing, if you want to start investing in education that works and the type of tools and outsourcing and specialized supports and systems, invest in Purpose to Profession. But before then, I want us to have a conversation over a free consultation call that you can book. I'll leave the link in the show notes and in the description box so that you can click there. Let's have a conversation and let's get you out of your stuck state. Let's get you out of this mentality that, oh, there's no way. I'm literally helping you on how you can escape where black tax has put you and how you can start financing your purpose. And one way I finance my purpose is in education and in courses. And this is where I am now. And I offer you that help and that support and that privilege by having you invest in what I know has worked for me and I'm certain can work for you. All right. And the final thing I want to say and how you can finance your purpose and get out of what black tax has gotten you into is earn more. Learn to earn more. If all you rely on is your current salary and it is drained and you are strained, it's a problem. Earn more. Actually, we have I have a masterclass that I did last year during Black Tax, and I offer it for free when people take up or sign up for Purpose to Profession. In this masterclass, it's actually called the High Earning Purpose Practitioners Masterclass. It literally gives you a template on how you can negotiate a higher salary at work. It has 34 income generating ideas, so side hustle ideas. What else does it have? But there are templates and tools in there that really help you earn more. You need to earn more. If you want to invest in yourself, if you want to help out as much as you can, and if you want to finance your purpose, you need to learn how to earn more. So here are the four things: enforce boundaries, empower, don't enable, make smart investments, and earn more. And on that note, I can't wait to chat to you on our free consultation call that you are going to book and going to show up on. And we are going to have a conversation and you will start your purpose journey. But also on Friday, remember, we have our lunch and learn at 1 p.m. Every Friday at 1 p.m., we have our lunch and learn. And this week, I'm going to be talking about purpose versus passion. Is purpose and passion the same thing? I've got so many things I'm passionate about. Which one of them is in line with my purpose? You've got all those questions? Come live on YouTube every Friday at 1 p.m. Join our lunch and learn. But until then, purpose practitioners, until then, my homies, listen, Black tax got us stuck, but we don't have to stay stuck because we are woke. We are the woke generation, and there's so much that we can do. Peace and love. Have a brilliant week. Have an excellent week. And I'll catch you on Friday. Bye. Oh, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. Please subscribe. If you're on the podcast, subscribe. Okay. Whatever you listen, wherever you're listening, just subscribe. Okay. I want us to build this and to make the most of it. So I will catch you another time. Peace.